Hi, Thomas Miller from the Fun Astrology Podcast with a video edition based on something that I saw this morning when I got up really, really early and I took a look at the markets, and this was what I saw, was basically that the market had taken another tumble this morning. I was up when the European session had just started, and I noticed this drop, and I thought, ruh-roh. So obviously I do what I do, and I went to the sky and thought, well, what in the world are we dealing with now? Because as I had looked at the list for the podcast this week and had looked at the charts and everything, I just was like, today looked like a fairly quiet day. But we have a YOD again in the chart, number 2 for this week. And here it is. So who are we dealing with? Well, up at the point, let's talk about Venus. There we go. Venus is up at the tip of this thing. So if we turned the witch's hat like that, right, then we would have Venus up at the top. This is Pluto, and this is Neptune. Now, I thought we would kind of break this apart because there are some really good astrology lessons here that we can learn. So first of all, when we see Venus and we see this, we think money. Venus is engaged. Venus is at play. Now, a couple other things with Venus that I wanted to point out here is Venus is in the later degrees of Leo. Venus is moving quickly. It's moving at more than 1 degree per day. So Venus is going to move into Virgo on September 5th. And then it moves through Virgo and into Libra before September is over. It's the 29th when it moves out of Virgo into Libra. So this thing is moving quickly. Well, when a planet, and this is in the equal house system, so what you're seeing is the line of Virgo is right about there. When a planet gets near an ingress into the next sign, or when it gets near a house cusp, it gets more activated. So Venus is definitely, our little antennas, our astrological antennas are up right now. Now, there's 2 sides of Venus. There are several sides of Venus. This is where you need to be in the 101 course because we parse all this stuff out. So what are we talking about with Venus? Well, the 2 cookbook things that should just drop into your mind when you hear Venus. Money, so there's financial astrology, or love, relationships. Beauty, Venus being the love planet, beautiful things. So which one are we talking about here? Or maybe both. Or in your life, it might show up as love, and in the financial markets, it might show up as ruh-roh. Now, as I'm recording this, we'll see how I'm recording before the markets open. See, the markets trade overnight, as you know. So we get over here, and you'll see all these, all the red is all the stuff that's trading overnight. It's a big, kind of been a down. But as I'm recording this, from the time I got up around a little after 4 until now that I'm recording, the market still has not opened yet, and we're starting to bounce back a little bit. So we'll see how that plays out. But see, we've got our antennas up. That's the point. The point is not to be saying what it's going to do. The point is to be saying, money, relationships. Well, we've got a money signature this morning already. Okay, so that's what we do with Venus, realizing that because of where it's sitting, the real estate that it's on the chart, that it's getting more activated. Let's talk about Neptune for a second. Neptune in Pisces, very much ruling things like oil, and oil is down this morning about 2%. It's below $90, which is great for those of us that fill up our tanks. However, you know the kind of the saying that about gasoline prices, they go up like a rocket and they drop like a feather, right? So it's like they take them up really fast, but they're really slow to bring them back down. So will you see this at the pumps over the Labor Day weekend? Probably not. But it also rules, and this is what's really important, debt and inflation. And we'll put a Pluto bomb in with this in a minute, because Pluto is power. And even one of the things that Pluto rules, and I'm not bringing this into the conversation, but it is something that even Robert Glasscock has been talking about on our Old Soul, New Soul astrology podcast quite a bit, is that Pluto does rule atomic power, atomic and nuclear weaponry. So whenever you see this kind of combination, what you need to realize is with Pluto there, you're dealing with transformation, and you're dealing with something that could be potentially powerful. Now, fortunately, Venus is moving quickly, so this is not going to last a super long time. But we do have it with us today and tomorrow, and then we'll start to pull out of orb and this thing will fall apart. But from the standpoint of the destiny, what we've seen with these YODs, especially the ones that showed up last year and then into this year, is when they show up in these transit charts, these daily charts. You know, if you were born today and you had this in your natal chart, this is a theme that you would live with for your entire life. You would be dealing with the lies and deceptions of Neptune, particularly related to your relationship. And when they showed up, they would be strong and powerful. And if you had wise parents, they would teach you how to find the positive sides of this, because this YOD could be absolutely incredible to live with. I mean, you could be there could be a lot of wealth embedded in this if you get on the right side of the aspects. But there also could be multiple divorces. There could be a trail of broken relationships. There could be lies and deceptions, including lying to yourself, mostly. So this is a super, super strong characteristic. Steve Forrest in the Elements series, in the audiobooks that I narrated for him, talked about YODs being a signature of fame in astrology. He said there's really not any place in the chart that you look for to say, am I going to be famous? But if there was one and you had a YOD in your chart, it could be a very powerful signature of fame. And I will tell you that this one would be movie star fame, because Venus is in the later degrees of Libra. So it's like you could have a long-lasting career in the movie industry, Libra, or in public. Neptune rules film, and Pluto, whatever it does, it amplifies. This could be a really strong aspect for that. Like, wow. The other side of it is, if you're on the shadow side and you don't get on the positive sides of these aspects, is this kind of a YOD could also lead to a tragic death, maybe even by suicide, because you just can't overcome this related to one of the most important areas of our life, our love and relationship areas. So this is super significant. In financial astrology, we always look at Pluto as something that amplifies what else is going on. So I don't know, relative to inflation and debt, what we've seen with these YODs is that they seem to kind of be a marker of things to come. And I'm watching this in context also of the Saturn and Uranus square that will be hitting 18 degrees in perfect alignment beginning in 1 month from today on October 1st. So we're building up toward that. So what is the sky telling us about this money transition that's already in place? The Federal Reserve has plans to implement a digital currency. It's called the Fed Now program. There were some recent news releases on this just this week. So that's something that you can Google up and search up. But digital money is coming. Big transformation is coming. And now, as we're sitting here 1 month away from this aspect, we're sitting here with this YOD. So I think it's something that we need to bring attention to. Let me talk about the love component of this for a second. If you're in a relationship and things have been coming up about deceptions, illusions, like this would be a YOD to really step back and look at your relationship from the context of, how are we doing anyway? Are we muddling through? Have we covered up layer after layer after layer of stuff? Or are we really open here, and are we addressing our shadows, and are we working positively together? Or is it just a big cover up? And we're really ships in the night. That's Neptune. This says time to deal with it, time to transform it. And then obviously Venus is the relationship itself. So it's a time to really look at the honesty and the integrity of the structure of your relationship. And under this YOD, if you come to the, oh, you know what, another one under this, under Neptune, all the categories of mind-altering substances, because Neptune rules drugs, including pharmaceuticals, but it also rules all the other kinds of drugs, alcohol, and addictions. So if you factored that in and took a look at it from a truthful perspective, because so many relationships and marriages and homes are broken up by the characteristics ruled by Uncle Neptune because of addictions. So where are you really? And then you have to make the decision of what's it going to take to live on your highest timeline? Because everything that's happening right now in our world and in our lives is a reflection and a ripple down from what happened on January 12th, 2020, when these two planets right here, Saturn and Pluto, aligned in the sky in Capricorn at 22 degrees. It happened just over from there. And everything that's been happening has been a ripple down from that. So that's where we are. I think this is a very important aspect. I hope that this opens up several angles and interpretations around this, and that as you look at your own life, your own money situation, your own finances, what needs to be transformed, what needs to be restructured, what needs to be shored up, where are you not in clarity with your own finances? I mean, we don't have to worry about the stock market today. Just take a look at your own portfolio. Realistically, open those Neptunian eyes of inspiration. Where should I be moving in all of this, in these areas that we've talked about? I hope that helps. Thanks for watching here, and also for listening daily on the Fun Astrology Podcast, wherever you get your favorite podcasts. Hope you subscribe to it and listen daily.